Okay, as promised, I would do a follow-up video, a part 2 on this image that they use. Again, this is their image. It's their symbol that they use. And I just want to repeat that I've never been a Freemason. I'm not now, and nor will I ever be a Freemason. And I have no idea what they say this is, because they're sworn to secrecy, I guess, when they train or study or learn, whatever they do to become a Freemason. They're not really allowed to tell you all their secrets. But what I want to show in this video is, I was looking at this one day and looking at it and probably went on for hours, and I'm flipping it around and I'm looking at it and I'm turning it, and all of a sudden it jumped out to me what this is, what it's showing here. And this is what I'm going to explain in today's video. This is part 2. Okay, let's get started with the most obvious letter that you can see is a G. There's no question that's a G. Capital G. Some people say that stands for God. That's a common interpretation of that G. Others say it means gnosis or knowledge, which is a good guess, but that's not it. But it is a G. Definitely a G. No argument, no doubt, it's a G. And as a side thought here, a G is number 7 in the alphabet. And a lot of times when you see them, when a number breaks down to a 7, this is what they're showing, what this G stands for, which I'm going to get into. But if you look at a capital G, you have to sort of make a number 7. You start with that middle line and then come down, and then it loops up and around. So it all fits together. It's a G, it's a number 7, and that's a definite no argument there. Okay, what letter does the entire image look like? I mean, if you just stand back and look at it, what letter do you see? Isn't it an A? An A or a 1? An A. When you look at fonts, usually in a Word program, there'll be a lot of different ones, but there's one called Algerian font, and the A, take a look at it. It's pretty much identical to the Freemason symbol there. A or a 1. And there it is. I mean, that's the whole symbol right there. The letter A. Here it is again, the whole alphabet in the Algerian font, uppercase. And you can see again the A. Very convincing, very clear that same A is used. And there's the A to Z alphabet in the Algerian font. Just for emphasis. Okay, so now we have a G in the middle. Then you have the whole thing as an A. You have G-A so far. Let's move on. Here it gets interesting. Now, to get the third letter, what you have to do is cover the top half of the image. And when you do that, what letter do you see there? Cover the top half. What letter is that? An M. If you see an M, right you are. That's what it is. There's a third letter. It's an M. What's interesting about this, if you were to rotate this clockwise 90 degrees, you'd have a 3. But it's an M. So now we have G-A-M. GAM. Gamma rays, gambling, GAM. We got those 3 letters, definite. They're right there in the image, buried right in plain sight, hiding right in plain sight. There they are, G-A-M. Let's go on. There's one more letter. Let me show you. I'm sure you can guess where this is going to go, but let's get there. Okay, the final letter. you have to use this same image again. And I mentioned if you rotated it clockwise 90 degrees, you'd have a 3. But if you rotated it counterclockwise 90 degrees, still have the top half covered, it's an E. A capital E is a mirror image of a number 3. And this is in line with the number you'll always see them use 33. It's not an evil number. There's no Satan. There's nothing evil connected to it. 33 is a 3 is a C. Two C's together is CC. It's pronounced CC, as in look, look. Understand, understand. There's something we're trying to show you. Look, look, see. That's what the 33 is. So in line with what they do with 33, using the same letter twice, only rotating it 90 degrees, gives you the final letter E. Here it is again. I'm not real good with Photoshop, but I tried to make it a little bit more clear by blowing it up and removing the little middle part. But you can see it's an E. It's just a funny shape to it, but it's an E. That E sort of looks like the Greek letter sigma also. But here's what we have buried in that image. G-A-M-E. This image that they hold so dear, that they put on all these buildings in Washington, D.C., and monuments and lodges and different places all over the world, you'll see this same image. It spells game. That's the great mystery of this image. It's a game. That's what this life is. I know that sounds ridiculous, and people say, well, you're not in the game or no longer in the game. You'll hear them, they'll use that word loosely. They'll just like a throwaway word. They'll just say the game. But that's actually what it is. This is a game that we're in. It's an actual game. Literally a game. This is a game. And I'm going to make other videos to show you this, to prove it. But I was going to make a part 3. I was going to end it here and just leave you for that to think about. But I'm just going to go a little bit further. I'm not going to explain a lot. I got to leave some stuff up for people to figure out themselves, because if somebody just keeps handing you everything, you may never going to get it. So people need to figure stuff out. But that's what that image is. It spells game. Sort of like on Monopoly, you'll see Parker Brothers, or different games will have their little logo on the side of the box. We're literally in a box, literally in a monolith, a cube, whatever you want to call it, a game. This is a game that we're in. What the game is, I'm going to try to explain a little bit further right now. So I've seen a number of times, there's stories on the news. There's another YouTuber that made a couple of videos. He did one was a little boy lost in a cornfield with his dog. And then a few weeks later, he did another story about a little girl lost in a cornfield with a dog. And he kept saying that he didn't understand why he knew the story was fake, a fake news story, but he couldn't understand why they would keep showing this. And I've seen it a number of times in my life too, that they keep using this same story. A little boy or little girl lost in a cornfield. And at the time, I didn't understand it either, why they would use such a story and repeat it over and over. And it reminded me of an old Twilight Zone where this little boy would send people into the cornfield. And then when they made the movie The Twilight Zone, they used that same story, that same boy. It's like they keep repeating this theme over and over and over. You'll keep seeing this. And what was it? Stephen King. I was trying to think of his name. Stephen King wrote a few books on children of the corn. So, and I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't piece together why they would do this. Why do they keep showing these same stories? And they're usually fake stories, but they'll air them as though it really happened. Like a little boy really did get lost in a cornfield. So what I didn't realize, somebody in the comment section, it was the Mag, one of his videos. Somebody commented one time. This is years ago when Mag, I think around the time he first started doing videos on YouTube. Somebody said the Spanish word for corn is maize. Well, something clicked right in my brain right at the time. I'm like, okay, there's something to this comment. So I looked up the word maize. Okay, let me let me show you what I got an etymology dictionary, and I took an actual photograph of the word maize in an etymology dictionary. It's the Harvard, I think it's the Harvard Etymology of the English Language Dictionary. Let me show you what it says. Here it is. I took this with my cell phone, and then I just flipped the image to black and white in Photoshop. But this is an actual screenshot, actual photograph of the dictionary in print. I always recommend getting that dictionary in your hands rather than relying on an online etymology dictionary. But etymology shows you where the root word, where it comes from. But take a look at this definition. I'll just highlight some words just that are in this definition that I was totally floored by this. Stupefy, daze, bewilder. The word amazed is in there. And then it talks about the different languages and where it came from. Look at about the middle of the way down. Look where it says exhausting labor, whim, idle chatter, doze off, hence maze, delusion, deception, a network of winding and intercommunicating paths. That shows exactly what this world is. People are lost in a maze. They're stupefied, they're dazed, they're bewildered. They spend their time exhausting labor to get things. Whim, idle chatter, doze off. People are sleeping. You hear people say, wake up all the time. Wake up, wake up. A delusion, deception. This world is full of it. A network of winding and intercommunicating paths. It's like a web. It's like you're lost in this. It's a maze. Amazing, isn't it? That it's a maze. Look at this image I found. I was searching for different ones that show this same Masonic symbol. And look around the circle there. You see that black and white? That's the chessboard. It's a game board. It's very obvious once you can see it. And if you look at it, see the sun in the middle, and you see the eye in the pyramid. The eye is you. It's pronounced I. It's you on the other side of the sun, your higher self. And you see the sun rays coming out behind the image there. Whoever made this, they show a lot in here. Right, that square is a 90-degree angle pointing down, and 9 is the code. I'm going to do a video on all the numbers, what they mean. Eventually, I'll get around to it. It's there's so many. I got so many ideas things to show, but anyhow, right now, just show that the angle of that square pointing down is a 9. 9 is the code for dream. Now, I don't know the angle pointing up, but see that little circle at the top there? That's the sun. That's where the eye is, up top, through your eye through the sun. But I bet you any amount of money that angle pointing up at the top of the A is 33 degrees. No, I've never measured it. I don't know. I'm sure somebody can do that. It's pretty easy. Just take a protractor and you figure out what that angle is. But I'll bet you it's 33 degrees. But I know the bottom one is 90 degrees. It's because it's a square. You got 90 degrees at angle at the square, at the point. So it's pointing down into the dream. It's a game. It's a maze. And that black and white checkered floor, that shows the game. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You'll see that on flags like race cars. You'll see it everywhere. I'm going to do a another video on corporate logos, and I'm going to show you some things that are pretty amazing. But that's what it is. Look, just take a look at this image, and the whole thing's encompassed in a circle. One more thing in this image, you see the middle is a clock. You see the hands of a clock. We're trapped in time in this game. The time only exists here. Time where we belong on the other side of the sun is not. It's not governed by the the rotation of anything, of planets and the sky clock and the different things. But it shows a clock, and it gets into Chronos and the different ones who control this game. But time is a big factor here. You got 70, 80 years on average to figure this out. And then if you don't figure it out and you don't get out, you got to do it again. You got to repeat the run until you figure out how to get out of here and go home. But anyhow, I just wanted to point out that clock. The guy whoever made this image shows a lot in it. There's an awful lot. And then the blue circle in the back, the blue, true blue, your true self, true, be true to yourself is blue. The actual compass pointing up is purple. Purple is the combination of red and blue. There's a lot more to this, but I want to keep this video simple, and I want to leave some stuff for you to figure out. Here's just another one I found, and then this one shows that where the A is pointing up, sort of like the A you see on the on Star Trek uniforms, the little A there pointing up. There's a whole video I can do on that sometime. But anyhow, you see the I up top. I as in me, myself, and I. There's three things it's pointing to. It's you. And that's through the sun, on the other side of the sun where you belong. It's not some one-eyed God or all this bullshit that you hear all these people on YouTube up and down saying. See the blue in the middle again, the true blue, the G, everything's right there. Just another image I thought I'd flash up here. Here's another Masonic image, and you see there's two pillars. One is the sun, one is the moon. There's actually three pillars. They don't always show the third one, but the third one is you. Again, there's the image right in the middle with the eye up top, you. So you're in the center pillar. And then you see the game floor on the bottom, the black and white chessboard. That's kind of what this life is. Like playing chess, you gotta make your moves. And it's a maze. You gotta find your way out of the maze. Here's another image showing the three pillars. You see the chessboard floor. You see the sun on the right. If you were on the stage, on the floor, playing the game, the sun would be on your right, the moon on your left, and you go up. See, it's a little bit distorted showing that third pillar, but it does show it in the middle. And then you go up and you go through the sun and the star, what you are. If you saw my last video, who are you? There's the star. It's all there depicted in this picture. And what's interesting too, they got east and west, north and south. It's sort of not really the way, but it shows you go east. I finally figured that out. You don't go west, young man, or ride off into the sunset. You go to the sunrise. You go east. They got the E at the top for east. They got north on the left, south on the right, and W on the bottom. Depends on which way you're looking at it, if you're on the floor or not. But they're right in the middle there. That's where you need to go. That's the game right there. That's all a game symbol. It's all a game. It's all a game. Here's yet another one I found, just doing a basic search. But you see you got the three pillars. You got the sun, the moon, and then you in the middle. And then the ladder shows it going up, because that's where you got to go through is the sun. The sun is the exit, the door. And they're going up the ladder. And see up in the middle there, that one's got a key hanging down. So the key unlocks that door, unlocks your mind to get out of here. So You see down, I'm not sure what all these pillars on the bottom of the sun pillar is the S for sun, I would say. The B under the moon is the dual self, your divided self. A B is a 2. And then the W is double U, 2 U's. So it's all there. Now, as far as that contract laying on the ground down there, how we got here into this game, something I'd have to explain another time. I used to think that we signed a contract to play this game, that it's a voluntary thing that we got here. But I don't think that anymore. I think we were actually thrown here. We were put here for a reason, to find our way out because of something that we did, a mistake that we made a long time ago. But I don't really want to get into that right now. I wanted to keep this video simple. Matter of fact, I'm going to show some slides right now of what you can do to learn more if you're interested in finding out more. Okay, they put the clues where you wouldn't think that you wouldn't take them seriously. Most people don't take them seriously, but they put them in movies, they put it in music, places that you wouldn't think are serious. You know, when you watch the news, of course they do put clues in news and on TV, but it's so mixed with lies. It's hard to fish them out until once you know what you're doing. But anyhow, movies are a big thing. I would say music is the number one place you should look for the clues, but movies would be number 2. And there's so many movies that can teach you so much. If you know what you're looking for, if you use the right cipher, you can decipher the game. You can clearly see what they're doing. And I would recommend watching movies. Obviously, The Wizard of Oz, The Truman Show, The Matrix, all the major ones that released major amounts of clues are good. But there's a lot of movies about games, and they'll teach you different aspects of the game. Like this movie here, Shall We Play a Game? Remember that movie? War Games, I think it was called. Major truth. Not everything they show is true, though. They do mix false things in with it. You have to use your eye of discernment to fish out the clues and put them together. But once you get the hang of it, you'll see it gets easier and easier as you go along, to the point where you'll see it everywhere. You'll see it in corporate logos. You'll see it in commercials. You'll see it in advertisements. You'll see it in comic books. You'll see it. I mean, it stands out once you can see that it's all just a game. Once you know how to pull out the clues, it's all there, and then it keeps repeating. You'll keep seeing the same things over and over, done in different ways, and a lot of times very clever ways. But that's what I would recommend to start off if you're really trying to figure this out. If you really want to get out of here and you don't want to come back, and you really want to get back home, to back where you belong, get back to where you once belonged, you'll spend the time doing this. And I don't watch movies for entertainment. Although I am entertained sometimes. I know about all the tranny actors. I know they're all reversed genders and all that. But I watch them for the clues. I fish out the clues. You look at the background, things on the wall, things they show you. Sometimes they'll say the exact opposite of what they're showing. You got to pick up on all this. You got to be more tuned in to what you're watching. And just don't get lost in the story. Don't get into a trance watching a movie and get into the whole deception of it. You got to pull out the clues and put them together. And they'll never put everything in one movie. They'll never put it all in one place. It's scattered. It's scattered over many, many things. But if you look around, and once you start seeing it, you'll see it everywhere. It's very pronounced. This is that movie I was just talking about, War Games. Is it a game or is it real? I guess that was the slogan of that movie. It's an old movie from the 80s, and I haven't even watched it till recently. Somebody was telling me about it, but the whole point of this movie is right here. The only winning move is not to play. Don't play the game. That's the only way you're going to win. This is a game that you're playing that you cannot win. There is no way to win this game. The winning move is not to play. And although the winning move is not to play, this movie here, Robin Williams, Jumanji, the first one, there's 3 of them out now, but this was the first one. The whole point of this movie is you got to finish the game. You can't just quit. You can't stand in the middle of the maze and say, I'm done, let me out. It's not going to happen. You got to finish the run. You got to finish the game, and the only way to finish the run of the maze is to find the exit, to get out. So you have to finish the game. You're in it. You got to finish it. Then, of course, they made a number 2, the next level, and then the third one, Welcome to the Jungle, or is that the other way around? Welcome to the Jungle, then the next level. I'm not sure, but these movies will show you some things, and there's some really nice clues put in them. I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to decode these movies right now. It's not my point of this video. My point is to watch these movies and fish out the clues. I mean, you kind of got to do this yourself. I mean, you can hand a man a fish and feed him for a meal, and then if you teach him how to fish, feed him for life, kind of a thing. You got to figure this out for yourself. But I'm just trying to point you in the right direction as to where the clues are found, and you need to go in there and find them yourself. And once you got it, once you get it, you got it. Get it, got it, good. Here's a movie I highly recommend. It's an older movie. It's called The Game. And they show so much in this movie. You got to see this movie. And there's a lot of truth in it. And it's Michael Douglas thinks it's just silly, a silly little game. He goes along with it, and then he finds out shit gets real. If you ever get bored with looking for truth on YouTube, there are so many movies to watch. And using your own mind to figure things out instead of letting people just dictate to you and tell you things, I feel is much better. A much better way to go about it. Because a lot of people say there's nothing to watch on YouTube. They're all shills. They're all, got their little angles. They're all in it for the money. All these different things. And then YouTube censorship and everything. Well, why not watch? There's so many movies you can watch. Just open up your mind and take a look, and you'll see this is a game. And like I said, once you figure this out, you're going to see it everywhere. It's just it's mind-boggling. But it is a game. This is one movie I recommend. Another one, Ready Player One. There's so many movies about games. I could go on and on. I didn't want to make this video that go on about movies, but there's so many. I mean, almost any movie you watch has something in it that's showing you something. There may be only one clue in it. There may be a lot of clues in it, but they're scattered. They're in the movies, and they're also in music, and it's everywhere. So I'm going to end this video here. Just another image here, same thing. And this is what I wanted to explain, what I'm seeing. And I'm fairly convinced, positive, that I'm right on this. This image is showing a game. This one here is interesting. It shows the sun, the 2 pillars, the moon, and laid in on each other, the point of the A pointing up to you, the I, the game. The way out is up. The way down is the dream, the game, the maze. It's all there. And I'm going to wrap it up here, and that's this, and I'll be making some more videos sometime soon. Thanks for watching.